What's up, everyone? We have a rototiller here. It's a Turf King, 5 horsepower Briggs on there, and it's locked up. So far what I've done is this. I removed the plug to see if it was hydro locked. It's not. And I checked the oil. It's black, but it's full. So I figure we're going to take off the front cover because I don't want to pull on it with the pull cord because I'm just going to break the cord or break something. So I'm going to remove the front cover. There's a 7/16 here, 3/8 on top, and another 7/16 on the other side, and this whole thing will pull out, and then we will continue on. Well, hold on there. Over 90% of you, according to YouTube, are not currently subscribed. You're watching this video, but you're currently not subscribed. So I'm going to welcome you to subscribe at the end if this helped you out. I work on a lot of machines, so maybe the machine you're watching is going to be something you own, but who knows? Maybe you own a generator, a pressure washer, a big mower, a chainsaw, a variety of things. The only way to know if I'm going to fix it in the future is by subscribing, and maybe I get to the one that you own and can help you out then too. So I welcome you to subscribe, put a thumbs up if it does help you out. Back to your normal video. Sometimes you can, what ends up happening is the flywheel gets rusted to the coil. I mean, it's pretty nasty in there, but I don't think that's the problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the screen, two 1/4 screws. The screen comes off. And then I have a special flywheel clutch that we'll use and see if we can't spin it. Like I said, I put a decent amount of oil down the cylinder as well already. So this is a special tool from Briggs, or used for Briggs. I don't know if they make it, but it's supposed to be for removing the flywheel clutch on an older Briggs. I'm going to use it to spin the motor over, hopefully. There we go. That was easy. I'm hoping what we had was a simple, weather freeze, weather lock. I call it a weather lock. Basically what it is it's just been sitting for such a long time that just grime and everything, it just kind of built in there and crudded itself up, and next thing you know, you give a little oil, you spin it around a little bit and just kind of get it moving, and it hopefully, I tell you, hopefully will get it going. And it did. Well, we don't know yet. So right now I'm going to take a drill and I use the drill instead of this. Younger me would have put my thumb here at this point, and there's no boot on this, so you put your hand close enough, you will get shocked, but it is now unfrozen. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to put the cover back on. It literally just slides on. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I've never had a situation occur where I haven't had to take the clutch off and clean it. It's just what happens when you have this age of a machine. Basically, there's like these old ball bearings in there. We'll take a look at it here shortly, but I don't really want to put it back together to then just have to take it apart. I might as well just clean it now, and worst case scenario, I'll spend a little extra time cleaning. But this is how it's supposed to work. There we go. Oh yeah, I would have squealed. It's a squealer. So what that means is usually when you take this, or when you start it, it will run and it'll make this horrendous noise. and you have no way to really stop that noise because the noise is coming from the clutch. The only way to fix that is to clean the clutch and the shaft. It gets dirty, grimy. This is a rototiller, there's dust in the air, all kinds of nasty stuff. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna take this apart. Unfortunately, it is like 7:30 at night and I have a birthday party to go to, so this is going to have to wait until Saturday morning, but for you it's going to be pretty much instant. It's actually been a few days later and I got the clutch cleaned. I just basically had to clean the shaft inside the clutch. Is fine. If you don't know how to clean a clutch, just I have a video on that. So I think we should be set. I did try to move the throttle and it was stuck, and then I just kind of gave a little forceful movement and it freed up, so we should be pretty good. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to give it a pull and see what happens. There is fuel in there, so hopefully with the choke on we'll be able to just get it started. We won't have to do anything else, but we don't know yet. Let's see what happens. Well, move that out of the way. Choke is on. Make sure it leaves freely. It helps if the switch is actually set to run. Okay, well, let's give it a little persuasion. This tank carb setup, you have to pull on it in order to really kind of get going. With it being kind of questionable to begin with, it's not too unheard of where this is going to happen. So let's go ahead and try that. Put the choke not on. Sorry, project cam. Anyway, choke is off. Let's give it a pull. That's not good. Not good at all. Should have popped. I'll try this one more time. My can is getting kind of low. Maybe the angle I was spraying at didn't quite get all of it or any of it inside. That time I know it went in. The plug is dry, so. And I did have a quick visitor, so let's continue on. This might have points too. We might have no spark. Okay, well, super bright outside, so I'm not going to be able to really see it. I know you're not going to. Plug is still dry. Let's give this a pull and see if I can see spark. Trying to find a good place that doesn't have paint all over it. It's still pull on it. That should be good enough. I'm not seeing spark. While the plug is out though, let's check for some compression. one of my videos I posted had me use this compression tester, and for whatever reason I said like it was 120 and it was fine. Someone told me no, it needs to be at least 250, and I'm wondering to myself, this person a diesel mechanic? You don't need 250 for gas. In fact, pretty sure it's spark knock or pre-ignite or whatever you want to call it. Wouldn't be good. Throttle is all the way open, by the way. We have 90. Not great, but it would at least begin to try to run. And if we did get to kind of start running, it wouldn't surprise me if the movement of the motor would be enough to kind of break some of the crusty crap off of the valves, kind of make the compression come up even more. So, I think we have no spark. But it's hard to tell because this post I was resting it on is pretty rusty. You do kind of need a cleaner surface. I can get a brush or something. Get that cleaned up and I'll try it again. So as you can tell, there's no spark because it covers back off again. I tried and I tried, just can't get it. So this is getting a little crusty, but after kind of looking at some of the crusties, or beyond some of the crusties, I think I do see cables going to behind the flywheel, which tells me points in condenser. So I'm going to take this little mesh off again, take the clutch off again, and then we'll take off the flywheel together. So I took everything off, and right now, here's the problem. If I were to, there's a couple ways of taking this off. One, you could take a puller, but there's really not a whole lot of room. And getting a puller on this side can be a little troublesome. Or you can take like a pry bar, kind of wedge it. I usually push it down here because there's a little post. You have to be careful because that post can break. And then put a little back pressure on it, and then give the shaft a whack. Problem when doing that is that you potentially could mushroom the end of it, and then your clutch will go back on. That's a problem. So, or take like an air hammer and shove into this little indentation, but you have to be careful because if it bounces and puts like a little dimple in the side here, yet again, you have to fix it, otherwise your clutch won't go back on. So I think what I'm going to try, I thought I had a brass hammer, but I couldn't find it. I'm going to try this one. I don't know where I got it, but it shouldn't damage metal. So I'm going to take my crowbar and then put it down through here, put a little back pressure and give it a whack with that hammer, and hopefully it comes right off. So I used the hammer. I actually only took like one hit. Let's see if this goes back on. Very good. So I knew it would because there's no way metal is going to mushroom with that hammer. Anyway, let's take this off. It's a lot easier with two hands. There we go. Key fell out, I think. Yep. Okay, so now let's put that down. We have our blocks here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a secure location, and we will get working on it. You're in a very precarious state right now, so I'm hoping you don't fall. If you do, I apologize. And I hope you don't break. But anyway, I'm going to take this cover off, and we'll see if there's a lot of junk underneath there. These are a 1/4 inch, by the way. Let's wipe it off so we don't introduce all that stuff in there. There we go. So 99% of the time, we're going to fix it by taking a little bit of sandpaper or a file or something. So let's see here. So in order for this to work, these 2 points, and commonly why they call it points and condenser, have to be clean. And they're pretty dirty. So we're going to take a file. We're going to do this. Right now I'm just kind of holding this top piece in place. I'm not really pressing down on it. The spring is already putting tension. We're going to sand both of them clean. Maybe do a little more on the bottom. Basically what happens is they get crunchy and gunky and dirty. They don't make a good connection. When they don't make a good connection, you don't get spark. So I'm going to spend a few moments doing that. Now that that's done, we're going to make sure, hopefully we can, try spinning this on real quick. Everything opens. There we go. Yeah, it looks like it does. Okay. Uh-oh. Clutch is coming apart. That was unexpected. I even pressed that back in. And this is why that mesh is on there. Keep it from doing that. But I think it's a whole lot better. I'm going to take a flashlight and look. What we're going to do is I'm going to put the flywheel back on, and I'll put the clutch back on, and we'll check it for spark one more time. If you're in the awkward position of putting the key in, and the next thing you know, you're trying to put the flywheel on, but the key keeps walking around and getting pushed out, actually put the flywheel on. This doesn't work on all of them, but it does work on some. And then just kind of give it a few gentle taps. There we go. Now, you don't every single time run into the situation where you're pushing the key out, because there's a ramp on this. The ramp will cause it to be kind of annoying. And you'll just end up pushing out the key. Now, I should probably put that washer on, because if this has spark, to be honest, I'm not going to take the flywheel off again. I put the cover and everything back on. The reason why I couldn't spin it over with my hand is I put a ATF, automatic transmission fluid, on it, and that can be a little slippery. So yeah, I couldn't just grab the shaft, just slip all around. So I'm going to go ahead, put the mesh on so we don't have to worry about those ball bearings coming out again, and then we will check it for spark. To say this is awkward, it's hard to explain, but one-handed, let's see what we can see. I'm spinning it the right direction. Let's try the other side. Now, still no spark. So, at this point in time, that's why it was so hard. We need to do a couple things. One, we need to really think about what we want to do, and let me do a little thinking. And second, what we have to think about is this. Obviously the points, or probably the condenser to be honest, is bad. They make them. They still do. However, this whole system really isn't all that good in my opinion. It's just outdated. Yeah, it's not, it worked great for its time, and especially for this type of engine. It's, whatever. But in my opinion, buying a condenser or new points or both is just not cost effective, because this is just going to keep on happening. What we did today, you're going to have to do quite often, just because that's the nature of the system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it into an electric ignition by doing this. I'm going to take off this coil, and then somewhere there's a kill wire. Probably, yeah, you can't see it. I could barely see it, but I'm thinking it's that one. And then what we'll do is we'll take the kill wire off, cut this off. We're going to leave the points and condenser behind the flywheel because there's no point of removing them, to be honest. And then we will go ahead and just put a brand new coil on there. So I'm going to take this off. It's 5/16, I believe. Yeah, 2 5/16. This little shield comes off probably not very easily on this machine from the looks of it. And then we'll cut the wires. We'll cut them pretty short so we can make sure it doesn't get ripped on or interfered with the spinning of the flywheel. And then we'll just put a brand new coil on there. And this is where the problem comes from. I have assortment of coils. This is the one that came off. Now, this is a very close one. I was looking at it. Looks to be pretty similar, but the mounting holes are all wrong. See how it's a little taller? Not to mention the angle is a little different on the actual right here. So that's not going to work. I went through all those, and I have another one somewhere. I look for them again. I'm pretty sure I don't have one though. I went through this process before. I do this quite often, to be honest, and I just have to buy one. So unfortunately, I might be stuck another couple more days. It is the next day. Got the coil, got it installed. If you don't know how to get up a coil, I have a video on that, but everything looks like it's good to go. Now, two things I want to mention. One, did you know that little crease right there was meant for that? More you know. Secondly, I understand there's some people who are going to be upset at the fact I'm replacing this with a new style coil. I should have just tested the condenser, test the coil, test the points, get my multimeter out, and yada yada yada. Point is, one of them is bad, and the cost for one of those is basically the same cost as one of these. And in addition to that, the person's going to buy this, I doubt it's going to be a Briggs and Stratton enthusiast. They're going to be someone who uses it once or twice a year in their garden, and it's probably going to run for like an hour and a half max every year. They're not going to care what coil's in there. They care is that it turns on and it runs. So this is going to make sure that at least we'll have spark and we don't have to worry about it. So that's something that's going to be more important to them. They're not going to care, and to be honest, I think it's a better repair. If this is a full restore, no, this would not be a good idea. This is not a restore. This is going to be used, and that's it. Having said that, I need to spend a little more time getting this dirt situation figured out. There's a lot of dirt in the fins. That's just going to cause overheating. Could have been the reason why it seized. Don't know. But I'm going to put the cover on, and then we will give it a pull and see if that new coil helped. I have the plug-in, side cover on, all that stuff is on. I'm going to try turning on choke and then seeing if we can get the fuel kind of flowing. I'm going to give it like 5 to 7 pulls. After that, if it doesn't start, I'm going to just put a little starting fluid down there, because I don't know the condition of this carb. And I'm not here to get that type of exercise. Oh. Maybe turn it off choke. Well, good news, bad news. We have a working engine. Bad news is that's all that's working. Tines do not appear to be running. It's a weird thing though, is it was running in reverse, and I put it into forward, and it wasn't. But then when I put it in reverse under below engine speed, it ran just fine. But it wasn't going in forward. So I think we definitely have something weird going on there. The unfortunate part about this is, if it is a transmission, those are crazy expensive. If you can find them. I don't know how old this is. I mean, it's a Turf King. So the engine, there's a code somewhere on here. It's not right there. Oh, here we go. Too worn. I think it says 92. I can't make it out all the way though. So at the very least 30 years old. So yeah, that's not good. But even then, with the engine being points and condenser, I'd imagine it'd be a lot older than that. I'm thinking in the 80s. Yeah, somewhere around there most likely, or even older. But I think we're gonna leave it at this one. We're going to call this a C/no spark. Then we're gonna go ahead and do a separate video for the transmission and see if it's even good or not. So if you want to see that part of it, definitely stay tuned. If you have any questions what we've done so far, leave a comment below. Definitely subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at SmallEngine101. Put a thumbs up if this helps you out. And if you do need some personalized help, I do offer that with my memberships. So consider becoming a member. And other than that, I'm going to get to work on seeing what exactly is wrong with this transmission.